Patreon friends and followers. As always, your faithful Back Issues team is here. We have Isaiah, Tim, Mel, and Bray, and today we brought you the 2005 movie Constantine, starring the infamous Keanu Reeves, Rachel Weisz, Giaminonsu, Peter Stormare, Tilda Swinton. Sorry, I butchered that one. That's terrible.
Jimon Hansu, right?
Yeah, something like that.
We'll subtitle it.
Stormare.
It's just going to be like...
Pierre Stormare.
Directed by Francis Lawrence, who you might have known from the Hunger Games, the later Hunger Games series, and Red Sparrow. And yeah, based off of the Hellblazer comic series, which I think was first published back in 1988.
That sounds right to me.
Vertigo.
Good year.
Yeah, very good year. What a vintage. Oh,
They're better.
Wow.
But this was good. This is good. I enjoyed the ride. Definitely. I think there's things that can be improved on, but like all in all, I think we all enjoyed ourselves while we were watching this, right?
It's like inoffensively easy to watch. It's not even like a hard R, so it's not like super violent or gross. It's
safe. Again, it falls into that
very safe
middle of the road.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it's based on a comic book.
A safe night.
Yeah.
Watching safe material.
Yeah.
It's like a kid-friendly horror movie. Like, it's definitely a horror movie, but for, like, 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anti-smoking, got a good message.
Yeah, anti-smoking.
Basically an anti-smoking PSA.
Yeah. Francis Lawrence has a lot of experience in the music video scene. He'd done a lot with some really big names before this, and you could really see that in the visuals with this. I think it was really well shot. There was lots of really great choices that were made throughout as well.
There was a lot of intention behind like a lot of the stuff.
So much detail.
Cool. There's like cool stuff, like the shot from her perspective when Constantine's holding her underwater and you see him. It looks kind of weird and creepy, even though like you know what they're doing. It's like you're kind of unnerved by it.
Yeah,
it's all really well made.
And good choices
and, like,
too.
There's honestly
the
some
cinematography,
decent CGI that.
I don't know about that.
I mean, like some of it doesn't hold up, like some of the CGI faces, but like the blending of like the practical makeup on Balthazar when he gets his face burned.
All that stuff.
Like, that looked great.
For the most part, I was a fan of the effects.
Yeah, not so much the tummies at the end.
Maybe some more practical stuff.
Yeah.
As well.
There's the same year that episode 3 came out, so like they were still pushing what CGI could do back then. So for a movie with $100 million as a budget, it's not bad.
Yeah, and I think the CGI, a lot of this was set in the dark a lot of the time, and earlier on, I think when they were really utilizing the darkness with the CGI, it worked wonderfully, but then when we got into more of those intimate scenes where there was a little bit more fluorescent lighting and stuff going on, you could kind of, that's when things started to sort of not really, be drawing you in.
You know what it was like? It just dawned on me. I was trying to place it. It's like the ring wraiths when he puts on the ring and he sees in like ring vision.
You're like hell. Yeah.
Whenever hell was around.
Like a dusty version of that.
Yeah. Right? And so, but it wasn't quite as like, I don't know, the ring wraith vision is a little more terrifying, or Twilight vision. Well, what do they call it?
I know Peter Jackson intended it look like it's like pulling things off of Frodo as he's inside of it, like it's kind of like ripping him apart.
Right.
Which
this did a bit.
I don't know,
It worked as like a light source too, right? Because like suddenly things became like, whereas it was shadow in the real world, then when they would be in hell, it would be like blistering and burning and smoke
I
and fumes.
like what you were saying, Tim, about how it's kind of like an alternate dimension or ultimate reality, and it was nice to sort of see.
I think, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Upside Down.
Yeah. It was like whatever world we were in the real, then it was reflected when we were in hell, and I like how the environment really changed there. We weren't just going to like this one platform in hell again and again. We were seeing like the same world kind of continue and grow and build. And I think they did that really well in this movie. The world building.
Hell is way better than Spawn's Hell.
Yeah.
The CG effects are like
Yeah.
1,000%
And
better.
only 8 years later.
Yeah.
So there was that.
But I loved Beeman as
Oh,
well.
yeah, he
was a great character.
The kind of like the technician guy of Constantine's. When he first comes in and he's like, oh yeah, here's some holy water and the screeching beetles, and like it was really like building out like what Constantine has in his arsenal, and like what other things are happening in this world as well in the supernatural aspect too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. The supporting players were pretty good. Like Peter Stormare was great, Tilda Swinton was great, Rachel Weisz was great.
Yeah.
In a dual role, which
Sort
is
of.
great. Sort of. Yeah.
Her and the dummy.
Her and her doppelganger. Yeah.
And like literally one line as Isabel's Constantine, and then she jumps to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
She Jesus poses off the.
I thought they did a great job with like weaving in exposition without making it kind of painful.
better than
agree.
most.
As a
I
viewer.
agree. Yeah.
And there was a lot of exposition in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of needed it. They did a great job, and the music I thought was cool as well. Like
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
very sort of subtle. Like I didn't even really ever think about it, but I kind of take that as a good thing because it means it's enhancing my viewing, not pulling me out of the viewing.
Yeah. I think they had a really clear visual look and style and feel that they wanted for this project, and I think they really went for that, which was good. It was a very sort of gritty and grounded take, which I think is very prominent in the early 2000s as well. Someone mentioned Batman Begins comes out this year as well, so
Same summer.
Yeah, same summer. So like we're very much in that time of we want to see what these characters would look like, not in the fantastical, but in the real. And I
Yeah,
think that's
right.
really what they're focusing on here.
And it really does feel like a, even though they could have done more with the setting, like an LA set, supernatural movie. Just like I was saying,
Like From Dusk Till Dawn.
yeah,
or
it feels like
something.
there's like a lot of like the Mexican influence.
Yeah, the Santeria and that kind of.
Yeah, like all that, like the more the Catholicism from Latin America.
Yeah.
Making its way up into L.A.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of that aesthetic, but it it works with the setting.
It worked. But the uniformity that was sort of there that we're sort of also praising is also, it makes you kind of feel like you're stuck in a music video for 2 hours. Right? Like, the tone was there, and it's like, yeah, that music's the same, and like,
and then
this
there's
is...
the shot where he's like jumping and grabbing the thing, and all the demons are jumping. It's
Yeah.
very music video-y.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
bathtub when it breaks, and when she gets pulled through the walls, all the,
Yeah.
like, so
Yeah.
a lot of that, which is fine. Just, again, it was too safe.
That's
like,
all right. That's all right. We're delving into that.
The conversation is naturally going.
Yeah, it's naturally going. So
Keanu Reeves was good too,
how we roll.
right?
Oh, yeah.
For what he was given dialogue wise, like his little fingers every now and then were great.
I'm gonna go on the opposite.
Yeah.
But
I just like Keanu Reeves.
It's
we got
alright.
that coming up.
well, we're there. So yeah, stay tuned.
Guess what time it is?
All right. Anyone got a burning desire to kind of?
I'm gonna start it off.
Ooh,
I
okay.
like me some Keanu Reeves. I really do. All the way from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure through John Wick. I think he's great.
Yeah.
It's definitely like one of the hardest working people in Hollywood. That's what everybody says about him. He should not have been cast as John Constantine. I don't think he fit the character. He's a little bit too self-serious in the role. And like I was saying, like during the commentary, the way he delivers his lines, it's almost William Shatner in like its construction, where it's just like he says something and he stops for no reason, and he keeps going. I'm not sure if that's direction or like the way he was taking the character, but I just think Constantine should be a little bit more. I don't even know anything about the character really, but it's just
He's
a
got
little
like
bit more,
a Cockney British
Yeah, like,
accent, right?
he should be more of like a
Liverpool.
go fuck yourself kind of guy, rather than the kind of
Yeah.
self-serious. Oh, everything is
there was a weight to everything, and I think
He wasn't the only one.
He wasn't
No.
the only one, no. But Constantine was the one where I think he had the most missed opportunities with quippy lines that you could see.
Totally.
You could see and hear that the line was meant to be quippy, but it came across way too like world-ending.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's. I mean,
No, that's
for me, that was. I mean, again, that's just like a big thing that stood out for me, just because I like Keanu so much. I just think it was just miscast. Ultimately.
Nice.
I thought there was a lot of supporting actors, and I feel like it could have been boiled down into more of a core cast that you could actually get to know and connect to. Like it just seemed a lot of like toing and froing,
like Beeman
characters
and
coming,
the priest
dying
and
and going,
they could have been
coming,
one-
dying and going.
yeah, just one guy. They should have been right.
Well, because we had in Constantine's retinue there was Chaz Kramer or Shia LaBeouf, then we had our priest character, and we had Beeman as well.
right, like the
And-
priest could have like been a bowler, and like so he's that heavy set guy. He likes to bowl, but he also has his lab in the back or whatever.
Well, it's interesting as well because Beeman seemed to be almost the weaponsmith and law guy, but then Chaz also was able to do some stuff with the weapons. We saw him making the
Yeah.
shells
Right.
kind of towards the end there too, which was like kind of crossing over. Like I know there was a part of me that was thinking maybe this is almost like a legacy film in the sense of they're like, oh, Constantine's wanting to pass on his legacy to the next generation or something like that. But
Right, and he thinks he's dying at the start of the movie, right?
yeah,
he's got lung cancer.
I'm
So
gonna
maybe
throw it out there. I don't really like that aspect as well. Constantine having lung cancer in this, I just didn't. It felt more like the smoking PSA that we were joking about before than like really serving the story to push him into a better place. And I feel like he wasn't, on top of the quippy thing, he wasn't a con artist in this as well. Satan
Right.
at the end is like, oh, is this another con? And it's like we haven't seen Constantine con
What?
anyone.
Anybody,
Is it
yeah,
in
no.
this whole thing.
Maybe the
So-
first demon that jumps into the mirror, he kind of tricks him a little bit, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
barely.
but even then, it's not like your
But
traditional
that's not
like.
a con.
Like you should see him
No.
like when he pays for a taxi, he like pays and then pockets it back, or like he should be doing
Is
like
that Constantine from the comics? Is that who he is?
So
More
my
so
my knowledge
from the
isn't really too good on in regards to Constantine. A lot of it comes from the animated series and what we've seen on Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. But the character, from what I can understand, is very much a swindler who's. I mean, I've read the Injustice run with him, and he's great in that. He's a trickster. Like I feel like take Loki, but more of like a ground.
Okay.
Ground-based magician that doesn't necessarily have that cosmic level of power, but he's not a guy you want to trust, and it's why no one really likes him because he's screwed everyone over. Like he's a backstabber
So
constantly.
like he's burnt a lot of bridges. That would have been interesting.
Yeah. So
And the result of a lot
Hellblazer
of friends
burnt
dying.
bridges.
yeah, I think exactly that would have put so much more weight behind the friends dying if it was actually because of things that he'd done and him purposely not being there for them and stuff like
Would have
that.
been a good opportunity to have someone following it because he does have his friends or people who he's killed follow him around in the comic.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a good
A
opportunity.
neat idea for like a chorus.
Who could
right?
follow
Yeah.
him around? Yeah.
And I don't mean to keep harping on, but like the supernatural side of things for me in this movie was too angels and demons, and there wasn't a lot of spread with that. You mentioned the Celtic symbol earlier, Isaiah. Like I would have loved to have seen more of that kind of stuff. Tim, you mentioned like wouldn't it have been great if the demons were like local demons and local little gods? Like I think there's a lot of like missed opportunities for
Neil Gaiman does that a little bit more with his like American Gods kind of approach, but something like or Sandman does it as well for Vertigo. But that would have been a little bit cooler. And they didn't all have to look like the guys, the zombies from I Am Legend,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they were.
Oh yeah, that's actually the lack of a clear and like a clear villain. Like it's like it's Balthazar, but then like.
But he's
just
working
before-
for somebody.
Yeah,
but then,
he's working for somebody. And
then it's Mammon, and then it's
and it's
Gabriel.
Mammon. It's Gabriel's the one bringing Mammon, but like Mammon looks like the I Am Legend zombie, so like you're like I don't care. It's like it's a CGI thing.
They give you so much information, like backstory and what the grand goings on are, but you don't know, like, wait, so his eyes are red, his eyes are blue or white. He's good. He's not. What's Jimon Hansu doing?
Yeah,
Let's
let's
more
also
of that.
Let's
right?
also not forget about the random Mexican guy at the start that gets the Spear of Destiny,
Right.
gets hit by a car, and we see him traveling. But then at a certain point in the movie, we stop seeing anything from him until Constantine goes in the chair, has the vision of him, and we see him where he left off. And then the next time we see the Spear of Destiny, it's in Gabriel's hands. There's no connection between how that
It's just a plot
comes.
vehicle.
It's just a plot
And then-
vehicle. Yeah.
Is it because that's got Jesus' blood on it? Is that the reason why he's able to be hit by a car and shot and survive? And then why is...
Well, and then he gets the mark on his wrist, which is
Yeah.
reflected on
Isabel?
on her wrist, but Angela doesn't get that mark. I don't know. It's a little bit.
It's yeah.
Magic rules were not clear. Harry Potter does it better.
They-
They needed to be a little more direct.
They explained a lot, but not
A to B.
enough in some way.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like the actual functionality of what was going on was never quite made clear.
Yeah.
You kind of get like, oh, this is, but so you can go into hell, you can come back out, you can like, why could the devil just let her go at the end or not?
Yeah.
And like, so the actual hard and fast rules they're playing by weren't as clear. They took very, like every chance they got to sit you down and tell you what the grander design of what's going on, and it felt wasted. Like those
Yeah.
could have been like 4 scenes
Yeah.
or 1 scene in a book. You just had like Ray in the occult bookstore going, oh, Vigo, he's this guy. You know, like enough. There you go. There's your information. Now we have a clear defined villain.
That would be, more like a ground level, less of a world-ending story.
Which is what this
Yeah.
needed to be for me, and I think that's our common complaint with
Yeah.
this. It just needed to be a little neighborhood thing, or, he's got his chorus of people following him around. Like, I won't
like high
venture-
stakes for him personally.
Personally high stakes,
Yeah.
yes.
This is delving into the pitching. So
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Should we just move right on into
let's
that?
take a moment. Well, we'll rate it first.
All right.
We like to tease you with the
All
pitch.
right.
That's the last little
I'll
thing.
compose my
It's the
pitch.
palate
We gotta come up with
Bush cameos.
I mean,
we're trying to figure this out.
I do like out of
Rating.
Rachel Vices.
Out of Rachel Vices?
Just because there's 2 of them
The
in the movie,
doubles.
so there's at least.
Wow.
At
how
least
many
2.
vices do you have? Smoking?
Well, if we're talking about
You
Rachel
gotta
Vices,
quit
not
that.
enough.
Oh boy! All right. Who wants to start then? Who wants to take it?
I gotta take
take
it
it
for a
away.
minute.
You gonna take
I'm gonna be like shoot straight down the middle.
Okay.
2.5
Yeah.
Rachel Vices.
Straight down the middle,
Cool.
eh?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to just jump in and say agreed. This is one of those ones. It's like it's watchable, but it's 2.5 Rachel Vices for me too. Just straight down the middle. Nothing
Yeah.
offensively awful, but it's
I
not
could
great.
legitimately take it or leave it.
Yeah,
And
yeah, 50-50
My-
on it.
Yeah.
For sure. I haven't
Jim?
seen it for 15 years.
Yeah, I don't know. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time I've seen this, so I kind of feel like, I mean, it's clearly rewatchable enough, and I did suggest it
You
for
did.
today, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, I guess I don't mind rewatching this.
Yeah.
I just felt very underwhelmed.
You're really underselling that. It's like, I guess.
I wanted to
My actions
like it
would
more.
say.
Yeah, but my face is telling you a different story.
Well, I think like the good bits are like really good. Like Peter Stormare was great. Tilda Swinton when she's hamming it up was great. When once they got to the river of Ham,
Yeah,
exactly,
things became good. But
The
just
Yeah, the last quarter of the film
was good.
quite entertaining.
Even Keanu's body acting when he
Yeah.
like really throws that gum in the mouth and you get the half smile going on when he's chewing on it in the what I thought was the last scene of the movie, but hey,
Oh yeah,
there's
there's
a end credit sequence
like
to
a
this
pretty
movie as well.
pretty wet noodle end credit sequence.
Yeah,
that was what was even that?
But next segment for the pitch, it did spark something.
Yeah, it
cool.
sparked something
So,
awesome.
But
I just don't know if I can go right down the middle with it though. Like, am I like?
You
you can
like
do
it more.
whatever you want to.
Yeah,
I want to
Tim,
say
it's your rating, man.
Empower you.
it's not a 3. It's like I'm thinking it might even just be a 2.
Ooh, Evil Tim.
Well, it's just not that good. Like, it has,
I mean, yeah.
It's really not. Like, it's glossy, it's shiny, it's got some nice, like, bells and whistles, but it really falls apart after repeat viewings, and you know what? It's like, it's a real 2, but I'm gonna give the combined strengths of Rachel Weisz and Keanu Reeves a 0.5. That seems fair. There's no nostalgia for this, but they're like 2 of my favorite actors in this, so...
Keanu Reeves and they're both great.
They're both awesome. So I'll give it like a pitiful 0.5 bump up.
Pitiful 0.5.
So this is, I'll give it 2.5 Rachel Weisz's.
So is this a pity 2.5?
It's a pity
Is that
2.5.
what's going on?
Yeah.
It's a sorry.
I'm
Keanu.
just gonna give it a pass. This is not like almost any other Keanu Reeves movie's better. Just for the record, last night in preparation for this, I watched Point Break, which I've not seen before, which really makes this just look way worse. It was like one of the only Keanu Reeves movies I haven't seen yet, so you're welcome. And it's great, and that's super rewatchable. And I also watched Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Mm-hmm.
Station!
Completely unrelated to that, I watched
is way
John
better.
Wick 2 for the first time 2 days ago.
Right?
And I didn't even know we were going
all
to
of
do
these,
this movie.
all of these are better,
Yeah.
right? So I haven't seen John Wick 2 yet.
It's good.
I will.
Well,
But
Tim, you know why you might not have enjoyed this as much? Because
No.
you didn't mention Star Trek once
No, I
throughout
didn't.
the entire commentary.
before the commentary started.
Before
the movie started.
the movie started,
Yeah.
not during said movie.
Yeah, there was surprisingly
Winning.
no cameos by like any Trekkies.
And it was like
right?
shot in L.A. and
Yeah, that's
L.A.
unusual.
is the home for Star Trek.
There was an X-Files mention though. But still, you're right. Maybe that's part of it. Anyway,
Just throwing it out there. You never know.
So what about you, Sir Bray?
Star Trek is nice.
You know what? I don't want to go against the grain of everyone else. I'm going to give this a positive 2.5.
Wow.
Whereas
Okay.
Tim's a reluctant pity
Yeah,
2.5.
It's
I'm
like
giving
it's
this
like
a positive
2.0 and then a 5 over the
Yeah. Mine's kind of got like a smiley face above the 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's
And a
bunch
picture
of
of you going.
yeah. No, I think like this. I agree with everything you guys have said. I think it's a good movie. It's not a bad movie. There's long periods where we're actually engaged in the scenes that are happening. The cast connects really well. I think it really falls apart in the third act for this one, and I think they just put some restrictions on themselves with the character, which just made it too safe, which is a common thing that we see. So
Yeah. If it had gone hard R too, like I don't usually suggest that, but it probably would have been way more visually
Well,
interesting.
subject matter. Unless you do
very much
it
agree.
like Hellboy, the reboot with David Harbour. Don't
Can't
make it
speak on
like
that
that.
yeah, Isaiah's the only one of us that has seen the latest
So
Hellboy,
far.
and
I recommend never watching it.
Okay.
Are we gonna rate that out of Jovoviches? Because then it gets all the Jovoviches.
All right. Well, we've tantalized it for you, and we won't keep you waiting any longer. Now it's time to see what the Back Issues team would do with a property such as Constantine.
Ray's got a good one. This is a good one. It just spawned.
Battery's dying, so we're gonna be fast.
So fast.
I'm gonna go last.
I'm gonna go first.
Oh,
Okay, well.
Okay.
Jumping in.
I'm gonna try and boil it down. So condense the characters into like some core team. I'm doing big strokes pitch here.
Yeah, broad strokes.
Yeah.
broad strokes.
Condense the characters down. Let's have like a handful of characters, all with relationships with each other, like pre-existing relationships. The relationship between the two mains, Angela and I was gonna say John Wick, but time.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Close
you
enough.
know who I'm talking about.
He is
It's
John
fine.
Wick.
It's fine.
He's John Anderson.
Yeah, exactly. Like I felt like they were almost
Yeah.
the same character in like their seriousness and their like, oh, this is the biggest thing ever, and he's like, no, you don't want to see, and she's like, yeah, I want to see, no, I don't want to see, yeah, you do want to see, no, I don't want to see, I knew I saw this,
Did
but
we
like,
put the movie back on? Is that
Yeah, it sounds like it.
No.
That's a pretty accurate sounding Keanu Reeves. Eh?
and I just thought that
Whoa.
their relationship, like, there was nothing, like, significant about their relationship.
Yeah.
Could you even call it a romance in this? Like,
I don't
not,
know, but
not
they had
really.
chemistry.
Not even.
They had chemistry. There was just no substance to said chemistry
No,
in like
yeah.
the story content and that like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And also pick a solid genre. I think like some movies do really well by blurring genres, action, thriller, horror. But I say go full horror
Yes.
and go hard R.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, as much as I love him, if I was making this movie, I wouldn't have given it to Keanu Reeves just because, for one thing, the character is British, so make him British and don't make Keanu Reeves do a British accent. For the love of God, don't.
Just a quick insert. Quick insert here. They did write it originally British, but they were having trouble selling it, so then they changed it to American and got some interest.
That might.
That sounds about
That's
right.
probably that sounds like a 2005 thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
British.
Just popped in.
I
What
don't-
about David Tennant? Would have been a cool choice or something back in 2005. But anyway.
Actually, no, not even. The 2005 was when Christopher Eccleston, the first Doctor, was 2005.
Right, yeah.
The
So
ninth,
he wasn't even
the ninth,
around yet.
The ninth Doctor.
Ninth Doctor.
Tennant wasn't even a name at the time. Anyway. British. And just, like, boil it down. Make it, like, get the character right. Make him the most interesting thing about his own movie. Have it be more like a detective story where he's, like, figuring out what's going on. Small scale, day in the life, hard R. Just focus on him, make him work, and, like Mel said, just take out, like, there's so many different characters that it's like you could have merged into one or just, like, dropped out. Yeah, just day in the life, hard R, set it, like, just, like, a family's being besieged.
Right.
In the slums of LA, and they can't get the cops or the priesthood to help, and John Constantine's the only one that gives a shit. And
Because of the suicide or something,
yeah,
right? Like,
he's
they won't go near
he's
it.
thinking
right?
it might be like, oh, these people are trying to con them, so maybe I'll get some money out of them. Like, I'm not sure about the character again. I'd have to read more Hellblazer. But yeah, smaller, not world-ending, just like something that's going to affect him or the people that he's helping. And get out. Hour and a half, hour 45. Maybe done.
Yeah, all of that I agree with. I think he should be, like, Constantine should be reluctant. Like, maybe he's quit since he got his cancer diagnosis, and he's like, fuck this, I'm out. And they've got to kind of bring him back in, right? So he sees it going on, but maybe it's, Shia LaBeouf or whatever is doing stuff, on his behalf, and then he's got to bring kind of the old guy back out of retirement, whatever he is, he's a detective or whatever, but more of that mystery, and he should be giving a voiceover, and he should be coughing, and phlegm should come up, or like bile, and it could be the same stuff that Peter Stormare is standing in at the end, like he's been coughing it up the whole time, and it's right, like
I kind of love that,
right,
Yeah,
like
the
the
tar
tar
that's
from his
eating
cigarettes,
from the inside out.
His cough.
yeah, right. But anyway, I wouldn't change too much, but I do like this idea that the people who have died under his orders or watch or whatever follow him around. Like, he should be talking to these dead people. They should look like people that he knows and
he
not
talks all the
monsters.
time about being haunted.
Right.
Like, we don't see
We don't
him
see it.
with the burden of being haunted.
When we do, it's just Twilight realm
Yeah.
with monsters.
One
right?
other thing that popped in my head is, in this movie, Constantine's not really responsible for the villain being defeated, so I would have done it more like the end of Doctor Strange, where he outsmarts the entity trying to come into into our world, and he's actually, again, the most interesting thing, the hero of his own story, where it's like he just was like, hey, Lucifer, deal with your son, he's got daddy issues too, and that's kind of how he wins in this one, where it's like he should have outsmarted the devil.
Yeah. I think that's a really key thing that's kind of missing here is Constantine outwitting and outsmarting some of these demons in a more mental way than what we saw in the opening scene, which is kind of not the opening scene. I think it's in the opening of the movie anyway, where he gets the soldier demon out of the girl by using the mirror. That was more of a physical way of going about it. Like, do it more in a mental. Justice League Dark. I'm just going to do a shout out here because they have a great poker scene with Constantine and the Demons 3 and Jason Blood. And it's just, like, it's fun, it's simple, it's a little bit silly, but it really, really works. Like, get rid of all the angels and demons red tape with the magic here. Use whatever magic you want. My pitch would be So if you watch the end of the credits of this, you'll see Chaz Kramer, his headstone, and Constantine's there. He goes to leave, and then Chaz like arises from the ground, and he has angel wings, and now he's a half-breed. That idea is great, but make Chaz Kramer Boston Brand and make it Deadman. And so Constantine is doing a con with some demons, and then he runs across this kid. He starts to take him under his wing, and then shit just gets crazy. The con goes wrong. The kid gets killed through it, and then you see Constantine be haunted, but then and then that's like the creation of Deadman. You know, just like work it in a little bit.
That could
maybe
even
have
be
some
why
fun.
he retired. He got the kid killed. He's out of the game now, and now he's like,
PTSD.
but I'm still around, right? And he's got to find a way of communicating it to Constantine. That he's
Yeah.
that's Deadman.
Like, you know, I
He
think...
can hop into people, and if he hops into like superpowered people, he can use their superpowers. Like he takes over Superman, and or whatever. That's how he can communicate to Batman or whoever.
And he's a fast-talking, wisecracking kind of character that I think Shia LaBeouf would have had a lot of fun with. Because it kind of...
needed.
Yeah, I know, right?
And he's slapstick, and he's like kind of lanky and dancer. He's an acrobat in the
Yeah, honestly, I
comics.
could see Shia LaBeouf more pulling that off than whatever. Like he was kind of a half breed of Shia LaBeouf from Even Stevens, and like Shia LaBeouf from like his more serious roles in this.
His more serious roles in this.
Sam Witwicky. More of a fast talking con man. Not even a con man. I agree.
Yeah, it could have been cool.
But then
And,
again,
give him that shaved head and the white with the eyes. Like that would have looked cool.
You're looking at 2005, where they were like, "Oh, these characters all exist in their own universe. They're not gonna. They wouldn't have pulled Deadman into it. They should have,
They should have.
but they wouldn't have done it."
Well, remember how crazy it was when they put Elektra in Daredevil. It's
Oh,
like, what?
yeah.
You got two heroes in this movie?
Yeah.
And the
you know,
Kingpin?
Screen it big enough for the two of us.
Yeah.
It's interesting for us, I think, to really start to see the evolution and see like what people are trying and what isn't working. And I mean, Constantine now I think works really well in the way that Matt Ryan, we were saying before. Yeah, he's the voice.
The voice.
In the DC animated universe, and he's also played it on the
Constantine the series.
NBC
for one
TV
season.
series, and then now he's on Legends as an ongoing series regular character.
And he's great.
character. Yeah,
And he was on the Arrow couple
He's in the
episodes.
he was in the
right?
Arrowverse as well, and on Arrow, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they've really learnt from what they didn't do with Constantine, and they've embraced it. And what more can we ask?
Yay!
Like that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's great.
What more could we ask? Maybe Guillermo del Toro to direct it, and just give him this.
Not even this script, but like Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
Let him do that movie, Hollywood.
Yeah.
That would be great. But that was Constantine, friends and followers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for more back issues. We got stacks coming up.
I
for you.
would have given Keanu Reeves Swamp Thing. I don't know who they cast. Do we know who's on the show playing Swamp Thing?
I don't have
Not off the top of our heads. But anyway, we're probably going to watch the Swamp Thing show just for continuity's sake. So check in eventually with us for that and our thoughts on that. I know we're all pretty
share,
excited.
subscribe, and we'll catch you soon. Isaiah, Tim, Mel, Bray, and special guest star Lawrence off in the sun.
Cool. Yay.